Oh, it's just such a great time when you watch the establishment people losing their minds over everything right now. It just makes you feel so good to the very core of your soul to watch people like John Bolton melt down over Matt Gaetz as selection for Attorney General. I just saw Adam Schiff melting down about it too. There's so many things to talk about. I mean, first of all, John Bolton, in case you aren't aware of who John Bolton is, why don't you do yourself a favor and do some research and Google John Bolton or whatever search engine you prefer. Search his name, Project for a New American Century, and then search the Iraq War. Yeah, remember that huge absolute screw up that cost the taxpayers billions of dollars, trillions of dollars, and cost 1 million people their lives and had us locked in a war for 20 years. And we have veterans that are screwed up forever. Yeah, that's because of people like John Bolton who get to sit there and lecture us about how morally repugnant somebody like Matt Gaetz is, because, you know, he doesn't believe that the key to spreading democracy is blowing people up across the world. So why do these people still have any positions or any say in anything whatsoever is beyond me. Besides John Bolton mustache game this week. Look at this bad boy. See? Yeah. So just crazy stuff. So many things have happened. Appointments have happened. Don Lemon and The Guardian have quit using X. Whatever will I do without getting my left-wing garbage news from The Guardian and my my just great insights from Don Lemon. Tragic loss today. Man, I don't even know where to start. I just have trying to pull up my thing here. If you want to see what my links are or what the links I'm using are, where my stories are, my commentary, my written stuff, check out my website or check out the link below. You can get them emailed directly to you. That's historyonaWhim.com/join-or-die, all one word. You can follow me on many social media places nowadays. Yeah, just I'm new to the game. I'm getting there, building up. So we had that story with Don Lemon and The Guardian. Jesus, sorry about that. I blanked. And then we have CNN and MSNBC. Their ratings have tanked. CNN is actually talking about selling off, laying off a lot of their top talent, and MSNBC is actually for sale. So if you want to buy something, if you want to buy a giant heaping pile of garbage, you should buy MSNBC. Trump administration has created a department to clean up the federal government called the Department of Government Efficiency, DOGE. Of course, more people are melting down about that. It's amazing, right? So, Joe Biden and Donald Trump met today to discuss a smooth transition in the White House. Melania Trump turned down the invitation to meet up with Jill Biden, claiming that she was on a book tour or something like that. Of course, there's rumors circulating that there's other reasons why. And then, we've been told for so long that Biden's economy is phenomenal. We're just too stupid to see it. And what really happened there was, the economy looked terrible, but the Biden administration's been cooking the books. So 1 second here. So yeah, just kind of all over the place today. Really the fun thing has been to watch the media and our establishment government people melt down entirely over Donald Trump. Now, maybe if they wouldn't be so surprised if they paid attention to what he was actually going to do, not whatever made up garbage they concocted to try to fearmonger. Like if they would have actually listened to his plan all along, then they wouldn't be so surprised, which I don't believe they actually are surprised. I'm sure this is just all manufactured BS, just like everything is these days. And looking for something here. Whatever, this will work. So, you know, this is the thing is, they're very outraged about the decisions he's making along many fronts. They're outraged about his pushback against the federal government, his desire to get rid of the Federal Department of Education, ending the wars, putting people like Matt Gaetz in line to, you know, gut the Department of Justice that has been weaponized against American citizens, you know, making someone like Tulsi Gabbard the director of intelligence, like all these things. And why are these decisions happening? Well, it's because of moves the establishment has made. They decided to use the government. They decided to weaponize the government against people. They decided to lie to us about the economy. They decided to make stupid economic decisions, stupid cultural decisions, all these things, and they lost. They didn't listen to what was actually going on. They didn't listen to what American people actually wanted. They know better than you. And so when they lost, they had to make up excuses like people were sexist or people were racist or whatever. Where like the writing was on the wall. They had plenty of time to fix the things they were doing, decided not to do it, and now they want to blame it on something else. And it's like you're totally shocked that you guys lost when people were telling you, listen, like, we're fed up with this garbage. And you know, we're and then now there would be no, if let's just say, okay, let's say things had continued under Trump like they did under Obama. God forbid, because my take on this is a little different. But let's say they had things remain the status quo. America just kind of continued, you know, believing that the political establishment was somehow this like aristocracy, that this nobility that should rule over the country, and they should have unfettered power. And we believed that our government wasn't corrupt and they weren't using things like, you know, they weren't spying on us and stuff like that, right? Then things would have just continued the way they are. But the problem was Donald Trump came in and they exposed every inch of their depravity and of their stupidity and of their vile nature. It all was exposed because Donald Trump, they despised him so much because he represented average American people. And every move they made to try to take him out just compounded and compounded until the people said, oh, this is what our government really is. If they would have just sat back, shut up, let him do his thing, and let him leave, we would be in a completely different position right now. And which is why I'm incredibly grateful that he went through the crap he went through, because it got us to this point where he's making, you know, I don't agree with a lot of the picks. I'm not, the whole, like, the Marco Rubio thing, it's like, I don't even, is that even official yet? I don't know if that's actually official, but that's the rumor. Not too crazy about that one. You know, there's people out there, you know, like the guy, was it Huckabee or whatever, Israel ambassador. There's people out there that, listen, like, this is not going to be perfect, but what I care about is having people surrounding him that are actually going to gut this crap show that is leeching money out of the American system, get rid of the bureaucrats. They have no business being around. Cut back on regulations that make it impossible to do things. Cut back on, like, there's so many things you could do. And the wars. Stop killing people needlessly. Which is why John Bolton doesn't like this at all. He loves when America kills people for no reason. So, you know, you have all these things, like, there's people in there that will actively push to end all this crap, which will be fantastic, right? If it actually follows through and does it, and none of this would have been possible had it not been for all the crap that they've done to people. Tulsi Gabbard. You know, they flagged her as like basically a terrorist. She couldn't. They tried to put her on a blacklist her when it came to flights and stuff. And then there was always the off chance that she would get a position of political power, and now they're freaking out that there will be retribution. Well, why would there be retribution unless you did something that deserved retribution? Usually people don't go exacting revenge for no reason. Sorry, that's just the way, that's not the way things work. If it was like, oh, he's going to attack us for no reason, you would say that. You would say attack us for no reason. You all call it revenge and retribution, which means you're admitting you know that you did something to wrong somebody that deserves retribution. And I just, this whole ordeal with the bureaucracy, listen, I don't think that, you know, nobody should have to go under anything unjustly. The DOJ should not go after anybody unjustly. You know, you should not lose your job if it's unjust. But if you are using your position of power in government to use that to go after people you disagree with and try to ruin their lives, then you at least deserve to lose your job. Sorry. That's just the reality of it. Like, I don't want to, like, these people are crying about, oh my God, this is going to happen. Yep. That's what you all knew that was going to happen. He's not going after these people for no reason. The whole campaign, you knew this was going to happen. Why were you saying this was going to happen? It's because you know that things were happening that were going to make this happen. Maybe you could have just stopped, and then this wouldn't have been an issue. So, I don't know, social media, or, you know, X has been kind of fun since Trump's whole ordeal here, is when, now, I wanted to show you this. All right, where are we at now? There's so many stories, so many things you could talk about. This is from Adam Schiff. Idiot. Listen to this. Just read this. Let me read this out loud. First, the Supreme Court granted a president immunity for weaponizing the Justice Department. Now Donald Trump wants to appoint Matt Gaetz as AG. Confirming him would mean affirming the worst potential abuses of DOJ. He must be rejected by the Senate. Oh, like, can somebody please explain this to me? Maybe if you're a leftist and you like people like Adam Schiff, or you're sympathetic to their situation, explain this to me, please. Tell me that the Biden administration did not just use the DOJ and weaponize it to go after their political opposition. Tell me that didn't happen. Like, look me in the eye and say that didn't happen. So, if you can't bring yourself to say it didn't happen, then what does that mean? That means the Department of Justice was weaponized against American citizens. Should something be done about that? If your answer is no, then you like the idea of authoritarianism, or at least methods of it. If the answer is yes, something should be done about it, well, then something needs to be done about it. What people that are on this team, like Adam Schiff's team and the establishment's team, don't realize that if we just let stuff like this go in perpetuity, it will continue to happen. And based off history, I am a historian. That is my main gig in life. Eventually you'll just become the victim of your own overreach. Okay, your party will eventually, you know, if you at some point you will be a dissenter unless you abide by everything they do in lockstep, and then you will be the victim of it at some point. So you're setting yourself up to fail in the future. You're setting yourself up for pain in the future if you don't deal with this situation. And but this idiot to say things like, oh well, the DOJ is going to be weaponized. The DOJ is weaponized. It is. The government's been weaponized. Like, why is it that Jack Smith is now dropping these cases against Trump? If there was something there that was really heinous enough to say he shouldn't be able to run for president because of this horrific thing he did, he tried to overthrow a democracy or whatever stupid ass thing you guys claim, then that stuff still happened regardless whether he's president or not. He incited an insurrection, right? Regardless of his status as the president-elect or not. So why is it that you're dropping these cases now? Because you're afraid he's going to come after you? You're afraid you're going to lose your job? Well, you're already talking about stepping down. So let's just say, all right, I'll drop the cases. Wouldn't you just go ahead and just dump all that information out there anyways? If you really care about saving the democracy, one would think that's what you would do. Oh, you're not going to do that because this whole thing is bullshit, 110% of it? You did this to cost him the election and bleed him dry financially? Just like all these cases, like the scrap with Letitia James and that's the case about the fraud or whatever. He allegedly, he allegedly like forged documents or something, or like lied about valuation of his property. Like, he's getting charged for fraud and it's going to cost him a fortune as a way to suck him dry financially. And guess what? He still just trounced everybody in that election. So I have no sympathy for these people. And for this guy to cry and whine about it, well, then maybe if people don't want anything, any type of reaction, revenge, retribution, or whatever, then don't do things that deserve it. Talking about Matt Gaetz would abuse the DOJ, use the DOJ for their abuses. Matt Gaetz is a Freedom Caucus member who's probably one of the most common sense, down-to-earth people in the entire Republican Party. It's like Thomas Massie, Matt Gaetz, don't know anybody else. Like, I mean, the Republicans are pretty much terrible too, for the most part. But this is a guy that's like, yeah, he totally seems like somebody who's going to go out there and just use the DOJ and go after people for no reason. No, he's a common sense, down-to-earth person who's going to do that, is taking this position, and Trump's giving him this position because he knows he will see through the lies, he will see through the crap, he will be able to find out who deserves to at least get fired or get investigated or whatever. Because abuses were done under the Biden administration. Gross violations. And I'm sure if you do digging, there will be far more there than you ever thought possible. So, Adam Schiff, you can cry about this all you want. You can claim that, it's going to be weaponized or whatever. I don't feel sorry for you at all. And I don't believe you. I think you all lost your ability to convince people of things when you lied out of your ass every 5 seconds for the last 8 years. This whole premise here is just, it's laughable. I talk about this a lot, though. The Democrats and the establishment, they think they're right about everything. They think people like Trump, people like Matt Gaetz, probably people like me. I'm a libertarian, so like, I'm sure they think all my ideas would be kooky anyways. But like, I'm never right about anything according to them. They're right about everything. So them going after Trump, unjustly using the government, weaponizing it to go after him, framing him as a Russian spy and all this crap, and charging him for cases surrounding classified documents, that when Biden did the exact same thing, you didn't go after him, you just went after Trump for it. You know, when you do these things, you know, you think you're doing it for the right reasons. You think that you're doing it because you are genuinely trying to save democracy. Not because there's any reality to that. That's absurd. But you think that you're the only ones that are cut out to do it. And you think that being beyond hypocritical, contradicting yourselves, you know, just abusing power, it's okay when you all do it because you know you're right about everything. Hate to be a bearer of bad news there, hombre, but you guys have, I think you've been wrong about literally everything. Whether that's on purpose, like you're lying, or you're just wrong. But if we sat back here, sorry about the cough drop. We sat back here and listened to everything you told us to do and say and think, we'd be in a huge mess. We're in a huge mess as it is. So, yeah, this is just laughable that this dude's having a panic attack, and it's like, well, you know that you did something that you deserve to have them come after you for. So, as I said earlier, Matt Gaetz has been officially picked as Trump's his attorney general. No, this is John Bolton. Remember the guy who, you know, was instrumental in lying us into one of the most wasteful, catastrophic conflicts of the 21st century. Remember that guy? This is this guy right here who somehow still gets to sit there and tell you what you should and shouldn't do and gets to have positions in government still. That guy here.
President-elect Trump intends to nominate Matt Gaetz to run the Department of Justice. What was your immediate reaction when you heard that?
Well, it must be the worst nomination for a cabinet position in American history. I think this is something that falls well outside the scope of deference that should be given to a president in nominating members of his senior team. Gaetz is not only totally incompetent for this job, he doesn't have the character. He is a person of moral turpitude. And notwithstanding how difficult it may be politically, this is a nomination the Republican Party should oppose.
You know what that should tell you? Everything should point to the fact that that was an amazing choice when John Bolton is saying that crap. First of all, let's just go over what he said about Matt Gaetz. He said he's totally incompetent.
Falls well outside the scope of deference. That
it falls well outside the deference of what should be given to a president in nominating him. Well, guess what, dude? Just because you think that doesn't mean that it does. And according to people like you know, you should just let more deep state actors be a part of his team. Remember what happened the last time he was deep state actors, and everybody defied him at every turn and framed him for treason. So he calls him incompetent.
Totally incompetent for this job.
He's totally incompetent. I assure you,
he is a person of moral turpitude.
He's a person of moral turpitude.
Notwithstanding how difficult.
He's a bad person. He's wicked. He's an evil person because why? Dude, John Bolton is making a judgment about someone's morality. Him. Think about that. He is judging Matt Gaetz on the basis of morality. That piece of human garbage. It's shocking to me that people like this still get a voice. Why do these major networks platform these morons? Robert Kagan resigned as the editor at large or whatever of the Washington Post. What? Why? When I found out that Robert Kagan was the editor at the Washington Post, I was mind blown. Why? Why does this person have any say in anything ever again? They lied us into the war in Iraq. This was something they had wanted the whole time. If you really want an eye-opener, read Pat Buchanan's book. I gotta find the name of it. It's with the neocons. Let me see. So Pat Buchanan wrote a book. It was titled it was called Where the Right Went Wrong, How Neoconservatives Subverted the Reagan Revolution and Hijacked the Bush Presidency, written in 2004. Literally immediately following 9/11, these people were talking about invading Iraq. Like they saw that it was opportunistic to them to have this terrorist attack occur so they could get the war they so greatly desired. Okay? These are people like John Bolton, Robert Kagan, Dick Cheney, Bill Kristol. People that I see popping up all the time. Why in the hell do these people have a voice on anything? The Democrats were just proud of Dick Cheney's endorsement. Like, these people are sick and they're evil. And John Bolton is making a judgment about Matt Gaetz's morality. Like, I honestly, I'm terrified to even know what Bolton would think of someone is who has high, as a person of high morality, of great morality. Remember Whoopi Goldberg last week telling Liz Cheney that she has a beautiful, magnificent moral core. These people have lost their minds. It's like they're gone in the head. There's just how. Anyway, so he's sitting here saying, well, Matt Gaetz is totally incompetent to do. Listen, Matt Gaetz is an attorney. He's a representative. And guess what? He's going to go run a government department. Probably not that hard of a job. It's probably just go in there, gut it out, make it efficient. Get rid of people that are corrupt and evil and are going at, are illegally going after American citizens. Get rid of those people. There you go. Problem solved. Like somehow, like you need to be highly competent to run some of these government departments. Sure, dude. They're just wholly inept. Okay, so you got that. Matt Gaetz is the guy, and my only concern with this is Trump keeps making picks from the House. Now, when it came to Marco Rubio, I believe that DeSantis can place somebody in his stead. I don't know what the difference is. I'm not really familiar with this process. Historically, the way this country had intended it when it was founded was the people that founded this country, not this country. It did not found itself, but the people that had founded it, what they intended was people would elect their representatives. The representatives would appoint the senator. Then we changed that and we vote for the senator too. So I don't know if there's some leeway there where, like, I know I've been hearing DeSantis can appoint a new senator. I don't know if that has something to do with it, but with the rep thing, they will have to have elections. And he's grabbed a few reps already, I know, and there's a pretty thin majority right now when it comes to the House. And as of right now, I'm going to check the House elections. It's 217 to 208 according to the AP. Some races have not been called yet. There's one more in California District 13, Alaska, which I don't know what's up with that. And then there's Arizona 6 and Iowa District 1. So that's 4 more seats that should go red. There are 10 more to go. So I don't know, man. This is crazy. In Maine District 2, it's very, very, very close. Not even 700 votes. And then the same with Iowa District 1. It's about 700 votes difference. So yeah, these races are close. And for some reason in states like Arizona, it's taking 100 years to count these votes. California is absurd. I was trying to do the math on this. It's like District 13. There's 75% of the vote counted right now. John Duarte is, or I think that's how you would say that, is up by like 4,000, give or take. And this race has not been called yet. It's at 75% counted. So it's not even 150,000 votes have been counted. The election was over a week ago. How in God's name could it take this long to count that many ballots? I think California just is terrible at everything that they do. It just must be their way, because it just makes no sense to me. How in the hell could it take this long to count? But they are polling people from the House, which could be problematic. I know from what I read, and they will have to have special elections for these reps. I think the reps that are being polled they're in areas that are generally pretty red, so there's a good chance that they'll just get replaced by another Republican. But you still are playing kind of a dangerous game there. So hopefully he kind of pulls back on grabbing reps. The reason why I say that is because I just don't want to deal with impeachments and crap again. It's so exhausting and stupid. Like, if Democrats had even a tiny little inch of a majority, they would be impeaching him and stuff again for no reason, because it's like, we care about democracy, but the person the people democratically picked, we can't let him actually do anything. Oh man, crazy. So yeah, Matt Gaetz is the guy for AG, and interestingly enough, he did resign his seat already as a way to find a quick replacement for it. And it's kind of, it's mildly concerning, just because we don't really know who's going to get approved or not. Let's see here. I'm trying to find, there was one article that was about Trump's appointments, his cabinet picks. I know that RFK has not been picked for anything yet. There are so many stupid things we got to pick. We do need a Secretary of Agriculture still, probably something he would possibly do. Let's see. Here, I'll just share this with you. What am I doing? I gotta let the people see. This is the list. So, there's still a lot more to go. You have Matt Gaetz so far. There's Rubio, obviously, so he is on this list officially. Tulsi Gabbard was a nice one. Kristi Noem, governor, that's going to get replaced. And I they can't be pulling very many from the House at this point, because they're going to be teetering on the edge of losing that. But overall, what do we expect from this administration? Because they're going to still pick people who suck. Not a fan of Rubio. I don't know. I honestly don't really know much about a lot of these people. Ambassador to the UN. I don't know. I really don't. I mean, Matt Gaetz, Tulsi Gabbard, Marco Rubio, and Kristi Noem. And then this Pete Hegseth guy. Interesting. He's a Fox News contributor. But I think it's funny. They're melting down. I keep seeing this stuff about how Trump just wants loyalty. He's going to pick people that are loyal to him. Well, shouldn't you pick people that are loyal to you when you're picking them to work on your team? Like, did Joe Biden pick people that weren't loyal to him? Did any president do that? Generally, the way presidential administrations work is the president runs the show. So if the president makes decisions, he wants people on his staff and in his cabinet who are going to be loyal to him. Because last time when he didn't pick people that were loyal to him, they turned on him at every chance. So yeah, we're in a precarious position here when it comes to these next several picks. Hopefully, he nabs RFK Jr. for something. I know that Vivek Ramaswamy and Elon Musk were pegged to do the Department of Government efficiency thing, DOGE. And then John Thune was named the Senate Majority Leader. I don't remember. These all the choices sucked. The three of them. And Thune is a Bush era Republican, known to be anti-Trump, as they all have been, I think. So I don't really know what else you're going to get from this whole situation. I know the whole ordeal was like, he better be one to do recess appointments. And so yeah, he's slowly working his way through this list. Okay, so this is a story that I wanted to talk about. This is from my own personal article that I wrote today. Let me pull this up. I will link in the description below if you want to check this out. So Don Lemon and The Guardian are trying to inspire the lefties to leave X. Now, The Guardian put out a post today saying why they're leaving X, as did Don Lemon. This is what Don Lemon wrote in his X post. I've loved connecting with all of you on X, but it's time for me to leave the platform. I once believed it was a place for honest debate, discussion, transparency, free speech, but now I feel it does not serve that purpose. In addition, starting this Friday, November 15th, X is implementing new terms of service, which among other things states that all disputes be brought exclusively in the U.S. District Court for Northern District of Texas or state courts located in Tarrant County, Texas. The full terms of service can be brought here, x.com, blah, blah, blah. As the Washington Post recently reported on X's decision to change the terms, this ensures that lawsuits will be heard in courthouses that are a hub for conservatives. Experts say this could make it easier for X to shield itself from litigation and punish critics. I think that speaks for itself. Yes. Then he says, you can find me on YouTube, TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, Blue Sky, and blah, blah, blah. So, I'll get into The Guardian in a second here, but so this whole thing harkens back to, do you remember back in 2020 when Trump got kicked off Twitter and Facebook and YouTube? And I don't know about other platforms, but he was booted off. And so conservatives fled these bigger platforms in droves. And in the left, they laughed at conservatives. They mocked them. They loved their power trip. Go start your own Twitter. Go start your own Facebook. Go start your own YouTube. And conservatives did that. And eventually, these left-wing, inundated, rotten dumps turn into, they were no longer enticing. They were no longer interesting. They were no longer places where honest conversation was happening. And they were also withholding people's ability to reach a wider audience if you had opinions that differed from the platforms. Elon Musk buys X, changes everything. Now, YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, Threads, TikTok, all these things are still the same as they were before. Reddit, These places are all just left-wing crap. It's like all that it is. It's just a home for lefties. And then he goes to this Blue Sky, which is part of the new Fediverse thing. It's a decentralized platform. It was part of Jack Dorsey's. It was like a project from Jack Dorsey when he left X, and then he left it again because it just turned into Twitter. He said, but it's just left-wing crap on there too. And the one problem with X is that the court cases will be heard in a conservative district, which is pretty incredible. That's the qualm there. So what does Don Lemon think should happen here? He threatens to quit X, so Elon will go, oh, don't worry, we'll put it in a blue district where no matter what happens, all court cases will be tried by a left-wing, liberal judge. Now, I personally believe, this is just my take on things are far more likely to go your way if you're a Democrat in front of a Democrat court than you are if you're a Republican in front of a Republican or conservative court. That's just the way I feel about it. I think that leftists are far more radical, far more dogmatic, and I think that as we saw with the stuff with the Trump cases, like those were brought in front of liberal judges and stuff, and look at what happened there. They're like kangaroo courts. They just bound there. You knew he was going to be guilty no matter what. So this idea, like they're like, oh no, they're going to go in front of conservative judges, so therefore it's just going to be conservative. It's just going to be a guarantee that things are going to go in X's favor. Like this idea, they're going to be able to punish critics. What does that mean? If anybody talks about them, they're going to get hauled in front of a judge and punished for it? That's insane. What court would do that? And you have two options, Don Lemon. You can either have your trials heard in a conservative court or a Democrat court. And do you remember what the Democrats have done to Elon Musk? Right now, he is literally public enemy number one, probably more so than Trump. He will be the target. I'm starting to see every article, or a ton of articles popping up now, more leftist bullshit propaganda. It's Elon Musk is in there. He is the target. Elon Musk is there. He is the guy they want out. They want him to ditch X. So I do think that it's reasonable to say that I don't want to go in front of some Democrat judge who's going to hate my guts as the owner of my own company, which is what will happen. That will definitely happen. I think the level of hatred that a lot of these liberals have for people they dislike would make it very stupid for Elon to have his court in any other place. Because if he had it in some liberal place, some Democrat stronghold when it comes to court cases, they would, those judges would hate his guts because the left hates him. They hate him. Like, he'd be an idiot. So what, he can get sued every 5 seconds or brought to court about, over his own company? He probably just wants to ensure that he can just do business and not get attacked 24/7 for nothing. But this idea that you're going to leave X, The Guardian is doing it too. Now, according to The Guardian, the reason why they're leaving X is because of racism and far-right conspiracy theories are allowed on the platform. The Guardian is very much a left-wing, publication. Very much so. Jeremy Kauffman, who is the former head of Odyssey and Library, I think was the organization or the company, and he's no longer there. But he's just a hardcore libertarian guy. He actually went toe to toe with people from The Guardian and from Facebook at one point in time. I shared the clip on my X account. Pretty interesting stuff. And the guy, you know, The Guardian is it's a UK based publication, and they're totally on board with, like, you know, censorship, and they're on board with combating mis and disinformation and all this other garbage. So of course they have this idea. The whole thing with that is, okay, the court, allegedly there's racist stuff on X now. There are people that say a lot of dumb things on X, but I don't know if you're on the platform. They don't just get shown if you post repugnant, toxic crap. There is a thing that says, like, there are other blocked responses to this post or whatever. And if you're on there just posting stuff that's like blatantly like stupid or racist or toxic, like, nobody's going to see that stuff. And I mean, like, what does The Guardian consider to be racist? That's another thing too. Like, if, you know, I have a hard time believing that you really see any racist stuff on there, because, you know, I don't ever see it. And I follow a lot of what you would call right-wing accounts and stuff. I don't ever see trash like that. Then on top of it, this thing about far-right conspiracy theories, someone like The Guardian, or people that work at The Guardian, own it, what have you, they see anything that is a millimeter to the right of far left as far right. When's the last time you heard anybody on the left refer to something as just right-wing, right-leaning? No, everything is a far-right conspiracy theory. So, should you be banned for talking, you know, writing or posting about what you would call far-right conspiracy theories or espousing them? Should you be banned for that? What is a far-right conspiracy theory to The Guardian? Probably anything that's anti-establishment, anything that, you know, runs counter to the narrative, anything that, you know, if you question anything like elections, or you know, any of the stuff, that's probably considered a far-right conspiracy theory. So should that just be banned then because you don't like it? Because if it's anything you don't like is a quote-unquote conspiracy theory. I see a lot of the stuff that they would post as conspiracy theories. It's stuff that I just think is wrong according to my own judgment. That's what a conspiracy theory is. So that's what it is to someone like The Guardian. There is nothing illegal about spreading conspiracy theories, as The Guardian would say. Sorry, my cat just jumped to the ceiling and scared the crap out of me. Are you good? Jeez, oh Pete. Anyways, now that I can't think straight, anything that runs counter to what you believe or I believe, you know, we would consider a conspiracy theory. There's nothing illegal about that. It's not a violation of any of your rights. It doesn't violate your rights to have to see them. Yet it's okay if every 5 seconds I see stuff that I would consider as leftist or horse crap. The problem with X now is they now there's open discourse. Like, that's the reality. Like, you're allowed to have an opinion on there. You're allowed to you know, you're allowed to talk about your beliefs on there if you're a conservative. It was better for the left when it was just censored like nothing else. You know, it used to be awful on there, horrible. Like when I talk about toxic, you should have been on there then. It was awful. So you're leaving it because, you know, you don't like you don't like that people could do that. Well, cry me a river. Like, I don't then leave. Oh no, The Guardian's not going to be on there. But is this going to start a wider trend? So X is the #1 news app in the entire world. And it is month after month after month. And that's not because X produces its own news. It's because it is a aggregator for news. Every news organization is on there. So if I'm running a corporate news outlet, which is a dying thing right now, like, and I'm desperately trying to hang on to relevance and, you know, make money, I would think that I would want to be on the #1 news aggregator app in the entire world. But hey, whatever, what do I know? Hi, are you good now? Man, scared. He jumped like 10 feet in the air. We have that little foster kitten. He is not a fan, and she terrifies him. He's the biggest baby about any other foster cats we have, and he, like, you know, is only 8 times her size and petrified of her. But so he probably thought she was coming in to kill him, right? She was going to kill you in your little nap time. She was going to kill you in your sleep. I promise, you're safe. I won't let a kitten eat you. All right, so while we're at this moment here, take time, please, and please subscribe, comment, like, share, follow me on social media. Growth is slowly happening, but it's happening. More people are seeing my stuff. If you think Whitman here, or if you think he's cute, then if you think Whit's cute, then you should like my stuff, and you should subscribe to my channel, and you should share it, right? Look at him. Oh, he's so cute. Look at how cute he is. So you should do that, so that way he's happy. Because when his dad's happy, he's happy. So yeah, the Guardian thing, stupid. Few more stories I wanted to get to. CNN and MSNBC are both collapsing, essentially. Another article that I wrote today. Available, link below. If you already go to the website, you can see it. So media push to combat Trump was a desperate ploy to survive. Now, CNN and MSNBC are both collapsing. MSNBC are both collapsing. CNN has lost over 40% of its audience in 1 year. MSNBC has seen a 23% drop. Now, CNN, this was according to the Daily Mail, is believed to be forced. Well, that was an awkward sentence that I wrote. CNN is now believed to be forced to cut out some of their bigger contracted stars. They have some pretty big names on there making a ton of money, like Anderson Cooper making $20 million a year, Aaron Burnett $6 million. I don't know why Caitlin Collins is $3 million a year, which is crazy to me. But in 2023, Anderson Cooper is averaging 743,000 viewers. All that for a $20 million a year salary. MSNBC's ratings have tanked too. They have, really big, great names in there like Joy Reid and Rachel Maddow. I can't believe that either one of them get paid to do anything. You want to talk about conspiracy theories? Those two just do nothing but make up crap. It's a joke. So on election night, Fox News blew these corporate news networks out of the water, but there were plenty of election streams on social media, like Steven Crowder's election stream surpassed Fox News by quite a bit. So the corporate news thing's a dying breed, but I have no sympathy for these networks because, listen, yeah, they have espoused a lot of crap, but they are central in the divisiveness that has occurred within this country. Like they are the key purveyors of the propaganda. And so I don't have any sympathy for them if they have to cut people or sell their network, like MSNBC's up for sale, along with Oprah's Oxygen Network and some other things. But, this is something that was inevitable. They put everything they had, just like what the DOJ did, just like what the government did, the deep state, what have you, They put everything they had behind one hope that they would be able to push Trump out. They would force him out. They would do that by they would do that by weaponizing government. They would weaponize the DOJ. They would make up stories. They would then use the media to push this idea that he was like a fascist, a Nazi, a dictator, a racist, all this stuff. And they were playing a very risky game, because if that all got rejected, they were doomed in perpetuity, which is why Jeff Bezos and the owner of the LA Times saw the writing on the wall and said, we're not going to endorse a candidate because we don't want to just come across as a propaganda rag. We want people to see us as an actual news organization. So what we're going to do is start ditching these editorial teams that are just completely biased. And in order to be seen as legitimate, he had to be, someone like Bezos had to be willing to lose a big chunk of their subscribers. But it's because he saw what the future. Obviously, Jeff Bezos, smart guy. Okay. He saw the internet as this rising thing, used it to start an online bookstore that turned into probably the biggest retailer of anything in the entire world. So very obviously a smart guy with a lot of foresight, and he sees the future being like, we can't continue down this road of just being another bastion of propaganda. We have to change the way we do things. CNN and MSNBC and many other things like the New York Times, they didn't look inward at all after Kamala lost the election, and they're just continuing their crap now. They're trying to find other reasons why the election went to Trump other than, hey, maybe we're part of it. Maybe the stuff we were saying was a lie. Maybe the American people aren't stupid like we think they are. That's just my theory on the whole thing. But I genuinely think that this is a dying breed, because I don't know anybody that watches cable news anymore. I don't even have cable. I haven't had it in years. I mean, I have internet, but if I'm streaming news, I don't watch CNN or MSNBC. During the Obama election back in 2012, when he ran against Benedict Arnold, that whole thing was, I remember watching that whole thing like on CNN and thinking like, this is unbiased news. I mean, I was younger and dumber back then, but now it's like, it's so obvious. I don't know who could watch this trash unless you just want a confirmation of your stupid political biases. That's all that you want. And they're done. Like they're going out the window. So this is a bright future when the deep state lost, the establishment is collapsing, and corporate media is on the way out too. So Biden and Donald Trump actually met at the White House today, and they wanted to discuss a smooth transition. Biden and Trump actually looked fairly relaxed, and Biden seemed like he was pretty happy. They had a handshake. People were trying to read the body language. Trump was trying to assert his dominance. Big shock. But it's interesting, right? Because Biden's made a statement that, politics is a very dirty thing. It's obviously a guy that would know. He's only been in it for half a century. That being said, hey, wait, you're gonna get cat hair all over my microphone. Aren't you? Now that being said, Biden was very much on board with calling Trump a Nazi, a fascist, a dictator, a racist, a whatever. He espoused every single lie that we've been hearing over and over again. Very fine people, suckers and losers. these stupid hoaxes, the Russia stuff. And eventually, they just pressed people on this enough till someone tried to take matters into their own hands and nearly cost the guy's life. So you would think, oh man, this guy's a terrifying threat. He's really a terrible threat. And what happens is Trump shows up at the White House. They shake hands, sit down, have some jokes, everything's fine, sit in front of the media, and that's it. Wait, what? I thought this guy was the greatest threat to the future of this country, the greatest threat to our democracy. If he really was so, wouldn't you think you wouldn't let it be a smooth transition? You would say no? If Hitler was coming to take over the White House, wouldn't you just say no, sorry? It's because this is all fake and nobody believes it. And, Biden was probably just being told to say all this garbage. Because that was how they thought they were going to win the election. They thought they were going to win it by demonizing him, lying about it, and just, blatantly trying to make people hate his guts. That was your whole plan, and it backfired. So my argument would be this was the grand Obama plan to try to win the election, because Obama was always Mr. ad hominem. The reason why things would never get accomplished in his administration, it was always somebody else's fault. And the reason why things sucked is because it was always somebody else's fault. It was when people were racist and people were sexist. And the reason why, remember, black men don't want to vote for Kamala Harris is because they're sexist. And it's literally this thing that it's his way of politics. He's like the social justice warrior guy. That was his whole shtick. And guess what? Now, that's been outright rejected. They thought they could use that crap, the ad hominem, just to win the election, that would be enough. And people have rejected that stuff now. They have moved on. So why would Biden be meeting with Hitler? If he thought that there's really a huge threat to our democracy and that our country was going to be taken over by fascists, he would have just said no. He wouldn't be there smiling with Trump. Politics is all fake, everybody. It is all fake. These people probably all pretty friendly with each other behind closed doors. Now, there's some other articles in here that are worth checking out. I don't have time to get to them tonight, but there was one more article I wanted to show you tonight. Get so many bots that follow me on X. It's crazy. Especially since the election, even I'm just getting bot. You should follow me so I can have real followers and not just bots. This is an article from Zero Hedge. They just got handed fraudulent books. Ed Dowd confirms our warning that Trump is inheriting a turd of an economy. Former Wall Street money manager Ed Dowd is a skillful financial analyst who said in May the economy was skidding. Now Dowd predicts the economy is poised to roll over, and soon. The Fed is cutting rates with a record high Dow. Maybe they see the same thing he does. Dowd explains real weekly wage growth was minus 2% going into the election. It is also interesting to know that minus 2% of wage growth was also in 1980 when Ronald Reagan won in a landslide. Now he says he has never seen such a blatant manipulation of government statistics. There's government spending and government hiring to paper over what is truly a bad economy for the average man. When I asked prior to the election, who do you think will win the election? I said, Trump has already won according to the economic statistics. And that's why he won. Bobby Kennedy helped along with Elon Musk, Rogan, lots of people switching and what have you. What really got Trump in was the economy, the real economy, not the stock market. So basically, everything that the Biden administration was espousing, you can go check out this article here. It's on Zero Hedge, link below. everything that the Biden administration was espousing, that everything's a great economy, everything's perfect. It's all bullcrap. The whole thing was BS. It's all concocted and fake. They doctored the numbers. We would see this where they would claim, X number of jobs were created, and then the next month they would have to go back and fix the numbers. They wouldn't say anything about that. No, an article I included in this was from the Mises Institute, showing that Biden's economy is almost solely dependent on government spending and government jobs, to the point that Trump coming in and slashing these government jobs will cause economic pain for this country. It could lead to a recession, but it's something that has to be done, because you can't just pay people for doing nothing and just print money for eternity. It's just not going to work. We are so far down the rabbit hole of debt. There's no future unless we do something drastic. And it sucks to force people, to undergo economic pain and suffering, but I mean, I'm already undergoing economic pain and suffering because there's no freaking actual jobs out there. There's no real money to be had. I'm not going to qualify for some government job. I have a PhD and a master's degree and a college education and years of working experience, and finding a job has been next to impossible. So I don't understand how, how we can avoid the economic pain. Because in order, like, if Vivek Ramaswamy and Elon Musk jump in and cut back the size of our federal government, it's out of necessity. And it's going to suck. Remember, Elon Musk said that. It's going to cause temporary pain. And everybody said, Elon Musk wants to cause the American people pain. No, it's because this has to happen. You can't just print a million, an infinite amount of dollars. You just can't print it. You can't print trillions and trillions and trillions of dollars with no backlash. Look at the inflation that's happened. Contrary to popular belief, inflation is not caused by greedy corporations gouging prices. It is caused by inflating the money supply via the printing of money. So Trump will be inheriting a terrible economy. It'll be a very sticky situation, and Biden has traditionally gone around in this administration talking about how he inherited one of the greatest economic disasters of all time and fixed the problem. Remember, he fixed Trump's economy. He fixed the economic disaster that came out of the COVID pandemic. He didn't fix anything. There was no disaster yet. The disaster was impending whether Trump or Biden had been elected. Trump actually benefited by Biden getting elected instead, because the fallout of all that money printing was going to lead to major economic pain, and he would have taken blame for that. So unfortunately for Biden, his legacy is tarnished by this, but they were just lying to you all along and saying, oh, the economy is great. Remember Don Lemon talking to people on the street. Well, the economy is, people are like, well, why? He's like, why are you voting for Trump? Well, the economy is terrible. That's, well, actually, you're wrong. It's good. Oh, okay. Yep. Yes. My life experience that completely dictates otherwise is wrong. What a joke. All right. Well, I'm going to cut this video here tonight. Why don't you subscribe and like and comment and all that good stuff? Check out all the links are in the link below. You can find them on my website. And if you could just give me a good look on, give me a follow on X and things of that nature. Comment, like, share, subscribe this, send this video to your friends, family, and anybody else who you think would enjoy it. In the meantime, have a great night. I'll send out a links newsletter tomorrow. Links will be available on the website. And then on Friday, I don't know if I'll have time to do a full-blown newsletter because opening day of gun season for deer, baby. I gotta fill my freezer, so I will keep everybody posted. If that happens, where I go hunting and I don't get time to do it, it will come out Saturday instead. All right, have a great night, and God bless. Goodbye.